everyone, Stephanie here, coffee drinker, book lover, and reviewer of many things. And if you're seeing me in the same outfit again, it's because I'm doing this series of artwork stuff. Sorry, there's a light flickering, it's bothering me. Um, so this one is gonna take a little bit more work. But I'm just gonna power through. I don't know if y'all can see it, but there's one of the light bulbs is dying. It's gonna be okay. This this project takes a little bit more work. We're gonna make a pumpkin, and that sounds a little bit scary, but I'm gonna talk you through it. You're gonna need a pencil and some cardboard. Once you got that, you can pause and, come back, but you're gonna need that. Once you got that, we're gonna draw some ovals, or an oval, and then connect some C's and little arcs off of it. I'm only gonna, like I said, I'm only doing one of these. Yeah. You want to make sure that it's big enough to put a letter in. I'll show you why. You don't have to have the thick cardboard. I don't even know where I got this. It was one of the boxes that I've unpacked. Um, okay, so, gotta put it down, hold on. You're gonna make an oval. An oval? Can you see my oval? Okay. And then you're just gonna draw some arches. Not like that. I got stuck in a line. You're gonna draw some arches coming off of it and around and connect it at the bottom. See that? And then you're gonna do it again. Not as wide if you don't want a very big pumpkin. And then you're gonna do it the other side. So it's gonna look like this. And then you're gonna draw a stem. Now, I think I'm gonna make my stem just the basic up, across, and down. A little loop curly here. Oh, almost dropped you. See my stem? That's it. And now you cut it out. And that's the hard part for me. So I might cut ahead. Maybe. Can't cut. Let me tell you, this paper that's on the back of the cardboard is making it extremely difficult. I didn't think that was possible. Also, this doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, it's a pumpkin and all pumpkins are different. Not all pumpkins are perfectly shaped. So if it looks like it's a little bobbly, that's perfect. I think half the time whenever I get a pumpkin from the store or from a pumpkin patch, they all have those little bumps on them and little um I wanted to say cysts, and I was like, that sounds gross, but that's what they remind, like, like little bumps, tiny little spots. I don't know. Am I the only one that ever gets pumpkins like that, or do your pumpkins have bumps too? Also, it makes it easier sometimes if you cut, like if you're struggling, you can cut the piece off that's hanging, and then you have less to fight. Sometimes. Sometimes that helps. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I know some people are perfectionists. I'm also using the Ron's scissors to cut cardboard. And I should have thought that through before I started this. That piece for later. And now I gotta figure out how to cut this little. Got it. Alright. Pumpkin. Has everyone got a pumpkin? Have you been sitting here waiting for me to finish cutting out my pumpkin? Okay. So now you're gonna go back in with your pencil. You're gonna erase the middle oval part of your lines because you are gonna draw or write a 3D letter, not a 3D, I don't remember what it's called, but like a bubble letter in that space. So I erased my lines, and I'm gonna make mine say mom. I'm gonna make a few of these, and I'm gonna string them together, and it's gonna say mom, and I'm gonna put it above my bedroom door. But I already did my kid. Did you do your other side of your sheet? Flip it over. Okay, do it. So I'm gonna put an M for mom. Let's see. I want them to be uppercase or lowercase. Let's do uppercase. I like uppercase letters. Okay. I gotta think about this. I don't want it to look ridiculously big compared to the pumpkin. I know, now I'm being a perfectionist. I'm sorry. It really doesn't have to be perfect. It's yours. I know. I know. That looks fine. You see my letter? The letter M in my pumpkin? Okay. That's the next step. My kid just said, you need some paint on it. And she is right. So, first you're gonna find yourself an orange paint. It doesn't matter what shade of orange it is, as long as it's a darker orange, because you're gonna add yellow to it later. So I got this one. It's pure orange. It's a matte acrylic a matte acrylic paint. It too is old, but I have used I've been using it. So all right. And so since we're going to be using this to mix yellow in, you can see I didn't clean this out. I should have. Just a little bit. You don't need, unless you're doing all of your name right now, you don't need a lot. So you're gonna take darker orange, and you're gonna put just a little bit. You're not gonna need too much unless you're gonna do all of your pumpkins now. And then you're gonna put a little bit more than a little bit in the other one. That might have been. Then you're gonna take a yellow. This one is just bright yellow by Craftsmart. Is there anything in this one? I don't know. We'll find out. I don't have anything to stir it with. And you're gonna put a healthy amount of yellow into your orange. I'm gonna use the end of my paintbrush to stir the orange and the yellow together. And you don't, it doesn't have to be completely stirred. It looks really cool if you leave some orange streaks to streak into your pumpkin, if that makes sense. I don't know if that does. But you want it mostly mixed. So you have two different shades. Whoa. Two different shades of orange. Sorry, I moved really fast. Wipe that off. And then here comes the painting part. You're gonna get a little messy. Just a heads up. So make sure your kid, if your kid is doing this, they're not wearing clothes that you're afraid paint's gonna get on. You're gonna take just the tip. I usually use a smaller paintbrush to do this. I've already done my, like I said, I already did my kid's name. You're just gonna take just the tip of the paintbrush, and you're gonna kind of trace over the lines that you drew of the pumpkin. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want a kind of thick layer because the pencil will show through. And it's okay some, like in some places, but you don't really want it to. I might have to go get us. Use this one. I'm doing this awkwardly. But you're just gonna paint over. You're gonna make it thin. Paint thin lines over where you drew the lines. I hope that makes sense. You're gonna do all of your pumpkin lines like that. Yep. So the reason I thought of this, also do the outside also. It'll make it look more realistic at the end. The reason I thought to do this is a few years ago I saw someone make cardboard Christmas lights with their kid's name in them, and then they hung them. I think it was like around the Christmas tree of where like their presents were gonna be. Um, and I was sitting there and I have all these cardboard boxes that I'm slowly getting rid of. And I'm gonna be hosting a Halloween party here at my house for my friends and family. And so I was like, I gotta start working on Halloween stuff, like not just decorations. Like decorations are pretty much done except for my yard. Um, it's a different story for another time. Um, and so I was like, this would be really cool. Um, to add, like I was gonna make one for originally. I was gonna make one that said bathroom. Um, yeah. So I decided to make these cute pumpkins, and at first I was just gonna do my kid's name and put them above her door. And then or at first I was gonna do the bathroom, and I was like, if I label all the other doors, I don't have to label bathroom. Um, right? So I did my kid's name and it turned out really well. It took me 2 days to do her whole name because I had other stuff to do also, but um it's crafty. And so also you kind of want to make sure it's kind of oh, I don't know if you can see it in this. Make it a little raised the paint that you're putting on so that it gives that definition when you're putting the other color on later. And also at the end, after we do the inside of the pumpkin color, we're gonna go back over a little bit with the darker color, just in places to kind of make it look more darker. Because like the ridges, the inside of the ridge of the pumpkins, um, they look dark. If you like take a picture or from a distance, they kind of look like they're dark or dark lines. I don't know how to explain it. It'll just make it look more realistic. Okay, just trust the process. Just trust the process. um, we gotta do the other side now. Okay. Oh, I think I bumped the mic. I love you too. Sure you're doing your schoolwork, please. Also, I want a side note. I am not an art teacher or an art like smart person. I don't know what they're called. Those smart people, they're like, "Oh, if you mix this color and this color, you get this color." I don't know all that. I don't know the random names, shade names of colors. I'm like, an orange. Um, but I have found techniques that seem to work and that's what I'm sharing. Just so you know. Oops. I made a mistake, but that's okay. We're gonna roll with it. Paint fell off my paintbrush a little bit before I meant it to, and so now I have this edge here, so I'm gonna leave it. Maybe I'll make it bigger. Because pumpkins have weird shapes sometimes. Okay. There we go. I got all of my lines of my pumpkin painted, and now we're gonna give it a second, and then we'll paint the inside. So, you can pause me until um your orange paint is dry. Okay, so mine is not completely dry, but I can start on the other side. Um, so pick up your paintbrush and remember that orange and yellow that we mixed together? That is what we're gonna use, and it should be a little bit, I was gonna say tacky, but, like, just kinda mix it up a little bit. That's okay. And you don't wanna completely cover your lines that you've made, but if you do, it's okay. Like I said, we might go over them towards the end if you feel like you want those lines to be darker. And you can put the paint on however you want, but it's best if you have streakies, if your paintbrush is leaving lines, go back in after you've painted the whole segment and follow the lines we drew earlier, like this, to give your pumpkin more of the pumpkin-y look. Because if you look closely at a pumpkin, it has little lines. They're, like, very faint. There's my first segment. And then we're just gonna do all of them, and then make sure you go around your letter, but try to keep the same, like whenever you get to the middle, you're gonna go like up and down more. I hope that makes sense. And if you're orange, if your paint if your paint is looking a little thin and you don't want to see the cardboard behind it, you can go back in with a second coat. Um, that is what I did to my kids whenever I did hers. That is also how I got the streaks, because I didn't mix my colors all the way together. I will try to show you again. Sorry. And remember, this doesn't have to be perfect. It's a pumpkin. No pumpkin is the same. Your pumpkin does not have to look like my pumpkin. We are all our own person. Just like every pumpkin is their own pumpkin. All right. Second segment is done. And now I'm going to start on my letter in the middle. All right. Just, I found the point and I just sort of brushed up from the point to kind of keep my line. Starting to take shape. And then I think I'm gonna hold it by the stem and do the other side. Start with the way. Also, this is a lot easier to do if it's sitting down on a flat surface. Just thought I should share that. Oops, that's okay. Ruby, stop please. You're supposed to be doing your worksheet. All right, now I'm gonna do the other side. Did you finish writing my name? I think I will be giving mine a second coat of orange. Of this inside color before I do the outside. I think that'll be good. All right. And now I'm gonna start in on the other side. I did not mean to touch the orange paint. And I'm gonna give it a second coat, and I'm gonna try to get some yellow streaks in it because I have some yellow off to the side that I can add with my orange. Make it look streaky. Hopefully it looks good. Oops, I totally messed up. That's okay. I went too far down. See my mess up? That's okay, I can fix it later. Great. Now I have killer meowing. That looks okay to me. I did get some orange streakies in. I don't know if you can see them. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Now we're gonna go back and do some more of the darker orange in those lines. Just to make the definition more prominent. Not prominent, prominent. Whew. Speaking trouble today. Right. And it's okay if it's a little wet, um, because it's fine. Start with this over here. And yes, I just painted my thumb, just so you know. It's just a little bit. Okay. And it doesn't really have to be completely perfect. I know sometimes when doing this, there's like little spaces where I can see the cardboard through, and I like um but uh it's gonna be hanging up high. At least mine is, and so it doesn't have to be too perfect. Because no one's gonna see the little spaces, the teeny bubbles that are in uh so I'm trying to remember that. I do get really hard on myself sometimes when I am doing my artwork or my crafty stuff because I'm like, it has to be perfect. Um, but I have to remind myself it doesn't have to be perfect. It could look cool. What I think is, ugh, someone else might be like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. How did you do it? And usually the answer is accident. Like I have no clue how to to do it again. So I cannot replicate it for you. um yeah. Like the streaks, the yellow streaks that are perfect that I didn't plan in my kids little pumpkins. I had trouble making them happen in this one. So they're not as prominent and it doesn't look as neat to me. Um but it's still pretty cool nonetheless. Okay, and all right, that's gonna do. And voila. And so we'll let the orange part dry, and we're gonna put some brown on the stem. And I like to accent it with a little streaks of gold, to make it because I like gold. Um, so I'm gonna do the stem part now. Let me wipe off some of these paintbrushes. It'll be okay if there's a little bit of. Okay. Then we're gonna get some brown. I know it's already brown because we're using cardboard, but I want it to be a darker brown. Just this brown that I'm using is called nutmeg. You can use whatever brown though. Whatever brown you want to use. It is your pumpkin. So you're gonna hold it carefully. I put my finger mostly in my letter. Um, just because. And paint streaks going up. Because remember, stems don't go side to side. And try to keep the shape of the curves of your pumpkin at the top. Don't paint over them. Harder to do. I have nothing really to put it on, so it's kind of just hovering. And then, so it's gonna, ta-da! And then I'm gonna kind of dab off my paintbrush. And I'm gonna take that goldish color. This one is called Inca Gold. And we just need a teeny dot. The teeniest dot. Oh, stop. Because you just want a tiny touch. Kind of put some little teeny tiny streaks up. You can barely even see them, but when the light hits them just right, they shine. Ah. And then once your orange is dry, this is the hard part, okay? So I used a flat, straight brush when I did my kids, but I didn't wash it. And it's like really hard. So I'm using a different paintbrush this time. So we're gonna take our black and get a little bit of black. You don't really need very much black, I promise. And then just paint your letter. Try keeping it as straight as possible. Or as swervy as possible, depending on how you're making yours. Your bubble letters could be those swervy bubble letters. You know, the curly ones. The I was never really good at those. Um so that's why I stuck with the kind of straight one. Oh, I have to sneeze. Okay. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't. I just like this part. Apparently I can't talk and do this at the same time. I'm sorry. It's fine. Yeah. Okay. There we go. And then, once the black dries, if you have a really thin paintbrush, or if you have the paint pens or the little puff, if you have it in gold, you can go around the outside. You can go around the outside of your letter to give it more pop, which is what I'm gonna do, but I don't have that thin paintbrush on me. So this is where we're gonna stop, and let me know how your pumpkin turned out in the comment section. Holes in them, and then tie it to the wall using green string, or you can just tack it to the wall above their door. It's up to you, obviously. It's your craft. But yeah, we made pumpkins together. I hope you enjoyed this. Did you get as messy as I did? Or did you get messier? I don't know. You can't, it's not really picking it all up. Uh, thank you for doing this craft with me. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. I know it's not my normal, but we're doing a crafty series here. And, comment below if you like the crafty series, or if you just want me to go back to reviewing things. And did you do this craft? Who are you doing this craft with? Are you doing it with your kid? Are you doing it by yourself? Are you doing it with a friend or a family member? I just think, like, everyone has some cardboard floating around their house, that whether it be boxes because they moved, or that cereal box, or the soda box that's been sitting next to the trash can that you keep forgetting to break down to take out to the trash. Um, I get it. I understand. I get it. So let me know how you're doing this craft. What kind of box did you use? I'm using moving boxes, and I obviously disaster relief boxes, which I don't know I don't know, in the boxes that we were given, I don't know who it came from. Um, so there's that. Um, moving boxes is what I'm using right now. Uh, trying to think if I have another craft to use boxes with. Not sure. I'll think about it. And this is the end of this video. So if you haven't subscribed and you like listening to me ramble, you can click my face bubble down here and go to my channel and then check out my other videos. And if you really like my videos, then subscribe. It I'll sometimes subscribe to people and then be like, oh, I don't even like I liked that one video. And that was it. So I like to encourage other people to do their research before they subscribe to me, because I'm not everyone's cup of tea. And that's okay. Share this video because someone else might need something fun to do for the holiday, this holiday, the Halloween spirit, the spooky season, October, maybe even fall in general. Yeah. I mean, like, the pumpkin could be for Thanksgiving also. I'm just saying. Let me know let me know. Let me know. Let your friends know. I will be back tomorrow with another craft to share with you. So come back. See you on my next video. Bye.